Hey everybody, Tim here from Cell Immersive, and I just want to run you through how we created a concept within a matter of days for Valley of the Shadow, which is a history project. The project began with a meeting with Warren Hofstra, who's at Shenandoah University, one of the history professors there, and he described to us a script that was written by Ed Ayers and gave us a description of this event where post-Civil War in 1867, they were taking a look at allowing black men to vote. And this was and insert a student into this meeting where four individuals spoke to a crowd of 600 inside the Augusta courthouse. The main focus of this was to make it like a soundscape. So the idea was that audio would be the primary element. The figures would be somewhat ghosted in the sense we didn't need them recognizable. And the majority of the experience would take place inside of a courthouse with dramatic lighting. So you felt like you were in the past, and the most detailed thing you could hear or understand was the audio. We wanted you to pay close attention to the words that were being said and the characters that were expressing them. This led to another meeting where we were actually able to bring in Ed Ayers, the script writer, as well as Annie Evans, Aaron Collegeman, who's the chief technical officer at Orchestrate, as well as myself and JJ, so we could sit down and have a 360 discussion around what this historical moment was about, how it could help in education, not only in higher ed, but also in K through 12, and what the technical capabilities were available to us based on OrchestrateXR and some of the other tools we were using. We also got more insight from the dialogue of the value of this particular experience because the goal elevated to attracting people who weren't interested in the past by making history exciting, right? They wanted people to see this experience and go through it again and again. And this gave us a lot of design insight because we had a better understanding that this needed to be short and powerful. And then we had opportunities through interaction to allow someone to go through and discover something new. This led to many other opportunities. But the biggest value of this meeting, which I want to show you today, is that we were actually able to review a concept that we created after that very first meeting. The first thing we did is we leveraged AI to take the script that was made available by Ed Ayers and run it through Claude and had it generate an Excel sheet or a spreadsheet that broke down the characters, the language, their backgrounds and identity. So we had a good breakdown of who the characters were, what their backstory was. We were then generating voice prompts. Hey, how do we identify their voice and their character within their voice? Then we got portrait prompts as well, so we could generate some likelihood of what these individuals look like. This wasn't the end all. This is just a start for the concept. What was valuable is we were able to take these. We're going to orchestrate. The first step was to use voices, which is available here. And leveraging the prompts that were available in the Excel sheet, we were able to generate different characters with different voices. For example, Reverend Scott.
Brothers and sisters, it is indeed a blessing to gather with you all today.
What's really valuable here is now we have distinct character voices. So we took these voices and ran their portion of the script through. Now that we had the narration, we went to experiences, and within a day, we created a immersive concept. So instead of looking at storyboards, instead of thumbing through things in a PDF, we actually built out all of the scenes. So we had something that was actually immersive 360 to allow real critique and real feedback of what we understood, what we got right, and where the opportunities were improvement for. We started out with a simple scene that gave us a title scene, leveraging big screen. So when you come in, you have a way to be introduced. The opening dialogue was long, so we chopped it into on-screen text to slowly introduce people into the event. After we went through the text, we then arrived at the courthouse. Now, this courthouse does not exist in its current form. This was back in 1867, so it's been rebuilt since. So we leveraged AI again to generate an image of the courthouse from a postcard and then an animation in full 360. To simply animate a multitude of characters coming into the building. From here, we took the images that were generated and just applied a simple opacity to them and placed them on here so we could get that impression of a ghosted image. Again, this is not supposed to be refined and polished. It's to get the concept there so we have something to critique and talk about how we can improve it. We then generated the interior of the courthouse, how it would look in the evening of 1867 in a generic courthouse, because this too does not exist anymore. So we could get feedback from the client on the accuracy of the interior, how it was laid out, and what we should be considering when we place people in here. After that, we leverage the audio, we leverage the images, so we could go through and actually create the entire meeting and the speaking and the conversations so we could get real feedback on how the experience felt and what it was lacking, where we needed to improve. The other benefit is this provided the client the opportunity to do their own screenshots at home. We gave them access to this and published it so they could go home, they could do screenshots, provide one-to-one feedback on the interface, on the content, on the characters, on their voicing, on the historical accuracy of the building and the space, providing us additional content and resources, making updates to the script, changing the entire prologue, coming up with a revised script that took advantage of the characters and everything that went. So the biggest value of having this here in Orchestrate is that we were actually able to create, publish, and launch a virtual experience just from a concept phase by generating content through AI. So now that we have all this feedback, in the next video, what I'm going to do is show you how we take that feedback and rapidly iterate upon this concept and start turning it into something that is much more refined and polished and closer to the end goal.